You guys are resident Yankee guys, so we gotta get into the New York Yankees, Bronx Bombers, and the Yankees off to a very, very good start coming off their 11-game winning streak. And guys, this team right now, they've just been buzzing. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Judge has been outstanding. Rizzo has been outstanding. Stanton's been good too. DJ LeMahieu looks back to kind of his old self. And you got to talk about this pitching staff, who's just been outstanding. Tyler, this Yankees team, you were talking how, it's a lot of positivity for this Yankees team, which earlier in the season, who would have thought, in the offseason, Yankee fans were pretty negative. But now, the script has been completely flipped.
Of course, Yankee fans will always be a little bit negative. You know New Yorkers, they always find a way to complain about something. But, man, this Yankee team it's also only May, but they have exceeded expectations out of the gate. I knew this pitching staff was good, but I did not know this good. I mean, you got guys like Michael King, been one of the best relievers in baseball. Clay Holmes dominating as usual. And even with a rough start, Garrett Cole has gotten back to a 3 ERA. He's looked like himself again over the last couple of starts. And then guys like Severino coming off of injury. Nestor Cortez. How can we not talk about Nestor? Nasty Nestor. I mean, Mike Calamari and Ryan Gregor are behind the boards right now. Got to do a little special on Nestor Cortez. And he has been one of the best stories in baseball. And he's turned himself from just like a fun guy, an apple-eating guy in the dugout, just having fun, and just being just lovable guy, to being a really good pitcher. So, the Yankees pitching has been unbelievable.
So good.
And the hitting has started to pick up, right? They were a little bit unlucky to start the season. The advanced statistics back it up. But, man, they've turned it on, especially with that 11-game winning streak. I mean, New York baseball as a whole, your Mets, our Yankees are buzzing right now. It's just so good to see New York baseball in a good place.
Oh, 100%. And Nestor, I mean, a 1.82 ERA, 31 strikeouts, which, by the way, leads the team. I mean, that guy's been on fire this season. And then, after that 5-5 start, the Yankees, they're flourishing now. Cole's finding his spot. You get Tyone, Montgomery, Severino, all producing quality outings. And then let's talk about IKF. I mean, that was huge at shortstop. I mean, he has been producing so well. I mean, he's hitting over 300, or he's just around 300. About there, right?
He's leading the team in average, right?
I believe so. I think he's like 295 or 298 last time I checked.
Him, LeMahieu, and Judge are all like 290s.
Around that same area, And then the fielding too.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, 100%. I mean, the outfields look great. Higashioka is still doing his thing behind the plate. Mm-hmm. You get Judge in right field going up there over the wall, making some good catches. I mean,
even Stanton had one that robbed.
Stanton,
robbed
that
Matt
was the
Chapman.
One I was thinking of. Yeah,
he's robbed Matt Chapman. Like, people were like last year. Remember, Stan might not be able to play outfield.
Stanton's DHing half the time, and he's still showing he can still play the outfield.
Yep, definitely.
And then Gallo. I mean, may not be that guy at the plate, but he's there on defense.
Gallo will pick it up. I'm confident. Just because there's really no way to go but up from here with Gallo.
Well, he hit him 188.
He's more of a get on base and hit home runs. He's a three true outcome guy, but showed a lot of the first outcome with the strikeouts. But I'm confident in him to at least pick it up a little bit. But even then, he's the least of our worries with the Yankees.
I mean, you don't need if Gallo's hitting 188, but you have Rizzo and Judge combining for 18 home runs a month into the season, you're fine.
No, you're in great
it's not a big deal.
Stan's gonna get hot one of these times.
He already has 5 home runs too.
Right, he's gonna get even hotter. I mean, Stanton when on is one of the most exciting players to watch in baseball. But I mean, I just wanted to bring up this defense. Last year, the defense was awful. I think they're one of the worst defenses in baseball. A lot of errors.
A lot of errors. Yeah.
Just ugly. A guy who people thought was a terrible defender, Gleyber Torres. He has 4 defensive runs saved this far into the season.
Well, moving over to second base now.
Yeah, moving over to second base from shortstop.
He's been bouncing around. They've had him pinch hitting sometimes too. They've been messing around. I mean, Boone's been playing with some different lineups and different sets, and I think it's good. Yeah, you like to see that. A little bit of change here and there.
Guys like Marwin Gonzalez filling in. Tim Castro as a pinch runner, even hit a home run earlier this season. But Gleyber being a huge surprise. I mean, he started to pick it up with hitting. He had a walk-off hit the other day. He had a game against the Blue Jays where he drove in all 3 runs and had a home run. Yeah. And his defense has been the biggest surprise so far. He's
I like him at second a lot.
Yeah, I love him at second.
I love him over there.
Love him at second. Having DJ as a utility guy, Donaldson as third baseman.
Yep.
It's really good to see the Yankees preaching versatility. A much more complete team than last year. Last year, Yankee fans were all over the place. Oh my God, this team sucks. Just because they were so inconsistent.
Yeah.
But with a new hitting coach in Dylan Lawson, a much more analytics driven team. this team looks much more confident in themselves than last year. And Glaber being 40 defensive runs saved as the biggest surprise in the world to me. But, this is a much more fun team to watch than last year, I will say. Even though we know this 11-game winning streak that just ended is not sustainable.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but like this Yankees team, like the
It's just more
Yankees
fun.
win 90 games every year. Like I
Right.
don't know why everyone going into like this year was like, oh, the Yankees are going to be really bad. They're going to be
Fourth
whatever.
place.
Yeah, whatever it's going to end up being. Like this team is going to be good. I think
Right.
everyone's always going to go back to the playoffs with the Yankees. And
Yes,
like we're
definitely.
only in May, so you don't have to talk about that now. So like Yankee fans should definitely enjoy, the wins and all of the 11-game winning streaks.
We
and,
won our April World Series. That's all that matters.
yeah. So, I mean, like, for me, I think a big stretch here coming out, though, is this next stretch where they just play, like, basically every day until, like, Memorial Day.
Yep.
So that's, I think, important. Obviously, the bullpen, and everyone talks about how Boone's been good managing that, but let's see if that continues when you don't have an off day and you're playing. I think they're playing more games in days. So,
Really?
like,
Because
yeah,
they do have
because
to
of
have
these
double headers.
postponements.
Yeah, exactly. The last couple of games have been
So...
yeah,
and
postponed.
they play the White Sox play the White Sox 7 times. You play Tampa Bay at the end of that. So
for the first time this season.
yeah, you're going to have important games here. And obviously, in between that, you have
Orioles.
like the Orioles and those types of teams. But
But you can't take the Orioles lightly.
Look what happened last year.
Yeah, last year. The Orioles, even as bad as they are, they're still in fourth place with the Red Sox being that bad.
Yeah, I'm
but
surprised, right?
their pitching is really good, the Orioles. So, I mean, they're not a good team, but, like, you still got to take them a little seriously.
Yeah, but it's nice to have that balance in there. I mean,
Right.
7 games against the O's makes up for some tougher games against Toronto and Tampa Bay.
Tampa, Chicago,
And all
even though
even,
Chicago's
like,
been bad.
I really don't like when people talk about schedules, and you see it across baseball. But everyone's like, "Oh, you're playing such easy teams." Like everyone talk about the
everybody
Yankees,
plays- yeah.
the winning streak. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're only playing against like the Orioles and
They
the
took
Two
Two
out
Guardians."
of 3 against
Right.
the Blue Jays. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So like that's
It's baseball.
exactly. It all
Yeah.
evens out. and-
Everybody
Yeah.
plays everybody at one point or another, basically.
yeah.
Yeah, and you talk about this Yankees team. I think you talk about the Red Sox being just awful
Terrible.
right now.
Yeah,
that's
9
been a
games back.
surprise.
Trevor
think.
Story's been atrocious in Boston.
And
Dodging the media. Sorry
and
to interrupt.
yeah,
dodging
no,
the media.
yeah, and
She's
that
0
whole,
for 4.
that whole thing with Bogarts and like
Mhm.
who knows what's gonna happen there.
Devers.
And Devers. So like they're not looking so good, but obviously Rays, Blue Jays, all they're gonna be right there. But I think
Right.
this will be a fun AL East. And right now, Yankees on top. They're looking obviously really good, and I think that it's going to be an interesting battle there between the Rays, Jays, Yankees. I think everyone knows it. They'll probably all end up making the playoffs.
They will.
But
Yep.
Yeah, 3
I
head
think
race there.
obviously you guys are the big Yankee fans. I think it's important if this Yankees team gets into their division and gets a bye into that divisional round. I think
Get
that
some
will
rest.
definitely pay them
Need
dividends.
that.
Yeah, get some rest for sure, especially with the bullpen. It's with the rosters cutting down from 28 to 26, you lose 2 spots. So depth is key. I mean, this bullpen is so strong. However, you need to keep them rested. Last year,
I
you
think
saw
that's
them.
what happened.
They were
because
coming
last
out
year,
every night.
you saw guys like Jonathan Loaizaga, Chad Green get burnt out at the end of the season, and Loaizaga been off. He was the best reliever in the Yankees last year, and he probably has the highest potential of any Yankee reliever.
Yeah.
Him, Michael
Well,
King, maybe Clay Holmes.
I would say Chapman potential.
Well,
Chapman's
Chapman's
the most-
also older, so I'd
He's
say
like 34 now, yeah.
33,
Yeah, but
34,
still,
and
when
he's also
when
He still throws heat,
when
but
he's going good.
when he's going good, he's good, but when
But
he's
he-
bad,
he's bad.
when he's
yeah,
bad,
he ends seasons.
it's June Chapman from last year.
Yeah.
But like Loaizaga has 3+ pitches with the slider / curveball, the changeup, and his patented sinker, just dominant. But he hasn't really yielded the results this year. But if he's on, this is another plus arm for the Yankees. You got Clay Holmes, who's been lights out. Michael King, who's arguably got robbed of reliever of the month by Jordan Romano. I mean, all credit to Romano for the Blue Jays. He's been phenomenal, but it could go either way. You got guys like Miguel Castro, who you know pretty well.
Yeah.
The Yankee Met traded with Joely Rodriguez. That was a fun little trade, but like Wandy Peralta. This is a very deep bullpen. And this is the key. That's the key to the playoffs. Having a good
100%.
bullpen, having good pitching is so key in the playoffs.
Especially if you get that bye.
Right,
Because if you have all your guys rested, you go into
rested,
that
oh my
divisional
God.
round, you're playing against a team that just had to most likely, because if you have a good record, you're going to play against a team that had to play the wild card round, right?
Exactly.
So you're playing against a tired team,
Right.
and you're completely rested with a lights
It's
out
such a
staff.
it's such
Then
a
that's the
massive
biggest advantage you can get.
Yep. Massive advantage. But like if you remember, Brij, those days in the past couple of years where the Yankees' offense was so strong, but their pitching was so
pitching
bad.
was awful.
With Larry Rothschild as
You lose
the
like 8 to
pitching
5.
coach.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? It's like
It was not fun. It was not fun. But Matt
turn the
Blake
corner.
Matt Blake at the helm Matt Blake, Sam Brand running the pitching staff. It's been such a nice welcome addition for the Yankees, just having good pitching. It's so reassuring, especially over the past couple of years, just with like the hitting being good, but the pitching being bad. Now last year with the pitching being amazing and the hitting being bad. If the Yankees can put it together with the pitching, hitting, and fielding all being good, man, this team is so dangerous.
They finally have all the Infinity Stones,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Put it together.
If you got all three good things going, anything can
And also
fly.
the big thing is peaking at the right time. Because the MLB playoffs, and I know we'll get into a little bit just talking about kind of the teams that are good right now, when you talk about the New York teams, LA teams, like it's just peaking at the right time.
Right,
like
especially
you look at like why haven't the Dodgers won? They've only won one championship in a 60-game season because they just haven't peaked at the right time. And you could talk about the Braves, the Nationals, like these teams that have won like 90 games, 88 games, and they end up just peaking at the right time.
The Royals in 2015, the Giants
even
every
the Mets
year.
in 2015, where you have Daniel Murphy become Babe Ruth, like, and like last year you had Jorge Soler become like the best hitter in baseball,
right?
And
Eddie Rosario,
like.
Yeah.
Man, Daniel Murphy was so good. I forgot about him.
Yeah, like 9 home runs in 8 games.
Lights out.
Yeah, but that's what this Yankees team has to do, especially on the mound too. Like the thing I'm worried about most is that bullpen blowing out.
I feel.
But the rotation's been great. So as long as that rotation, like you don't have to be as good as like the Mets and go 7 innings, 6 innings. Like they just got to get, because they're obviously a better bullpen. So if you can go the 5 innings, like you just can't have these blow-ups where you go 1 inning and you just burn out the bullpen. That's what happened last year. But
Cole
right
had
now,
that one this year, but
Cole's,
hopefully that's kind of just a.
Yeah, I mean you're always gonna have a few of them.
It'll blip on the radar.
Like for the most part, the Yankees, it's been solid overall. And you look at kind of their innings pitch numbers from the bullpen, it's not too high. I mean, maybe like a little higher than the Mets, but obviously that's kind of to be expected. But overall, you're kind of spreading the wealth out.
Definitely. With like Yankees have a couple high leverage relievers, like Michael King's third and 17 and 2/3 innings, which is like a little high, but that's his role. He can be a spot. He's like one of those guys who we saw him start games last year. He's a spot starter.
Did he start a game this year? Or did he just go long a few games?
No, he's long reliever. Okay. He's done long relief. He had one game against Cleveland, the Guardians, I believe, where he went 3 innings and struck out 8 guys, which is insane. Michael King's lights out. You saw him adopt that Kluber ball, the Klue ball, that little slurve. Alongside his great sinker, I mean, he's been unbelievable. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball, point blank period. But I mean, the rotation's been kind of like really surprising, but also, at the same time not surprising. Like, you see guys like Tyone.
Tyone, I mean, I think he's a surprise. No, it's maybe not like a full-on surprise, but he's a guy
playing above where you thought he would.
Yeah, he's kind of reminds me of like a Carrasco, where he's had success in the past, but you kind of expected him to be, worse than he is, and he's pitching right now. Obviously, besides Cortez, he has the best ERA on the team.
Yeah, 2.84 ERA is unbelievable. Jordan Montgomery getting absolutely 0 run support, 2.88 ERA, but he's 0-1. Why? Because his teammates hate him, and he doesn't get any run support.
That's just bad luck. I mean, he's doing his job. He's doing everything he can.
He's doing a great job. He's a phenomenal 3.
That being said, DeGrom treatment.
What happened? Yeah, he's getting the Jacob DeGrom treatment, but at a much worse scale. Because DeGrom's DeGrom. But
you're excited to go to the bullpen when you go 5-6 innings, which may not be the case for the Mets because the Yankees, you have a couple guys that can come in and give you quality innings, and that's just the case. And
to the Mets, I think like where the Mets and the Yankees bullpen is different. Like the Yankees have that, you can get a guy shut out the 6th and 7th. Like the Mets, once they get to Diaz, like you're fine. But before that, it's kind of
it's just like the 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, but Lugo, I think will end up turning around. But like overall, like that's why I think the Yankees, like it's that 6th inning where the Mets would go to like Ottavino or like May, and then they were blowing games. Like that's basically like the difference. And yes, the Mets have better rotation. You're expecting guys like Scherzer to go 7, so you don't have to worry about the 6. But like for the Yankees, it's like I remember you talk about like the Rays are a team that's done it. The Red Sox did it at a certain point, I think, when they were good. But it's when you go 5 innings and the game's over. The game's over. Like you have 5 innings to get to a starter, and then it's 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's unbelievable. Like the Brewers could do it last year.
Brewers did it last year.
Even the Dodgers did it for an extent. I had Kenley. They I guess trying last year. I mean, they're dead. Yeah, bullpens win games in the playoffs, especially.
Oh,
You've seen it.
Playoff bullpens are crazy. They'll bring in starters if it's like a must-win game.
I mean, we saw Strasburg do it for the Nationals back in the day.
I think Scherzer did it with them too.
Bumgarner with the Giants back in the day.
Syndergaard did it with the Mets.
It's like playing a video game, just like, I'm just gonna put this guy in now because I can.
Exactly. It's ridiculous, but like. Yeah, bullpens win games, and that's gonna be so key to keep the Yankee bullpen rested. But this is probably the deepest bullpen I've seen from the Yankees, point blank period. Like you got guys, just you give Matt Blake a guy, just test him out, teach him how to throw a hard sinker, throw a breaking pitch, and throw a nasty changeup.
I
and
will
he's gonna
say
be
though,
lights
those
out.
Yankees bullpens in like sevens when they had Miller and Chapman, those
Yeah.
were,
They were lights out.
and we'll see if they can get back to that. But I think that's something they've been kind of missing over the last
Mm-hmm.
2 years, is kind of not having that complete. Like I think the bullpens have been good,
But they're
it's
not
lights
deep.
out.
They're
Yeah,
not
that
deep
too.
either. Yeah, this is probably the deepest bullpen I've seen since, I guess, those 2017 days. Maybe back when, our childhood was Mariano Rivera dominated. But we
Those
can't
were the
really go
days.
there. Mariano, there's nothing like Mo. But, like, this is the deepest bullpen that we've seen in a while. So I really do like where the Yankee team is right now. Obviously, still early, still May. Maybe get a couple guys to the deadline. Maybe get a little deeper. And some guys pick it up, or some guys come down to earth.
Oh, it'll probably all even out.
It'll all even out.
This Yankee
Regression.
team, like
Yep.
even last year, they won 92.
92,
last year.
yep.
So like the Yankees, that's kind of like their floor is 92.
Yeah, that's
so,
their
like,
floor.
Their floor is about 90. Yeah,
So, like,
basically.
I mean, that's just how the Yankees are, and like I don't know, we'll kind of see how that plays out. I do want to.